All right, first off, public service announcement. This big, let's just say, I want to say tune, but cart, like we'll change it. Number one, this is a African dude, a Nigerian dude who goes around and does his mukbangs or whatever he does in relation to eating at different restaurants. We're boycotting him. So any restaurant that he shows up and does his buffoonery, let's just call it that. If you guys haven't seen this guy, what's up, Sarah? If you guys haven't seen this guy, his name is Groovy Gorilla, Big Groove, and he just looks like an absolute idiot. And he goes to these different places and he's eating and he's doing all this eye bucking and cheesing like this right here. Like, bro, stop. It ain't that serious. It ain't that deep. So we're boycotting wherever he goes, wherever he goes, and he visits and he shows up, and because a lot of times he goes to these restaurants. This is what I'm assuming. Says, hey, I'm a content creator. I got these many numbers on social media. I'm big. I can help promote your restaurant, your establishment. Let me come in and do content here. And he's probably getting free food. He's doing all this eating and all this gyrating and buck dancing while he's eating. This is not a good representation of us. Let's just say it like that. So yeah, I just have to put that out there. This dude here is an embarrassment to black content creators everywhere. So yeah, we are boycotting the restaurants that Dick Groove shows up to. And I don't know if Diddy, you say maybe Diddy got him or bottom. I don't know. But this got to stop. So public service announcement. This is going to end. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for the most part, I don't care what people do. They can do whatever they want to do online, but you're not gonna do some bullshit and you know thinking it's gonna slide moving forward. Like it's a lot of stuff that we just been letting stuff slide. Yeah, yeah. If y'all with me, y'all with me. Y'all, just. I think there's a list of different restaurants that he's been to that we're just like, nah, we're not having it, buddy. You're not. Nah. What do you say? Grand opening, grand close. That's what we're doing now. I'm across the street from Chef Marilyn's, y'all, on Crenshaw, off Adams, and it's supposed to be a protest going on because this establishment here has been around for 30 years, and it looks like her business is being taken up from under her. She's an independent restaurateur or business owner. She has her own business, then had her own business, and looked like they sent some people her way to allegedly swindle her business. I can give y'all the backstory if y'all want, but it's very interesting, and I'm gonna talk about some of the people that are tied. These are industry people, industry lawyers that are tied to this whole little what would we call it? Not a takeover, because a takeover is something different. We would call it a not a hostile takeover. What do we call it? A coup? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What's up to everybody coming into the chat? Seeing all y'all, it makes my day. Makes my day brighter, even though it's a gloomy day. It's a gloomy day right here in LA, but we still doing what we're doing. I believe some rain's coming in, so that's why it's gloomy and cold and all that good stuff, man. So yeah, I think, and then some of the homies is coming down here too. So I'm gonna see who's gonna pop up. There's a protest going on right now regarding this little situation with this restaurant mutiny. Let's just say it like that. Restaurant mutiny. Does anyone know how I can email Jag? I guess it's realjag77 at Gmail. I think that's where it's at. And yeah. Anyway, hold on. I'm looking up some stuff because shout out to my guy Billion Godson. He was just at the law offices where those two lawyers who swindled, well, let's just say alleged, right? Allegedly swindled this woman out of her business. He literally was just up there, and he was dropping it. He was dropping it. He was letting everybody know, we're gonna pop up. We're gonna do our little thing here, but we're also gonna pop up over there as well. You get what I'm saying? Um, the lawyers in question, I guess they come from a Lapote Law. This is a law firm in Hollywood off Sunset. There are two lawyers who made a deal with Chef Marilyn. Chef Marilyn's been in the community serving people for 30 years, and essentially, you know how things happen with business, man. Things change. When she first started out, I'm sure prices were different, food prices were different, things were different. And as time moves on, the price of everything pretty much goes up, especially now that it's skyrocketed. She's allegedly had financial problems before. And this is why these two attorneys came in. They essentially said something about restructuring the business. They were supposedly infusing some money, some cash to this business to keep it going. They wanted Chef Marilyn to continue to do what she does, which is, pretty much cook. And they were going to take care of the other ends of the operation. You know what I'm saying? That's that, like the finance, the advertising, maybe scaling up the franchise. I don't know, but essentially, if you have a business and your business is in danger of, like, closing because you can't, like, pay the employees, or you can't pay bills, you can't buy food for your customers, then yeah, um, it would be a smart idea to partner up. And I think that's what happened. The two lawyers in question, hold on, let me see. I believe it's Sierra Carter and a another one, Channing B. I believe that's her name. Um, Very interesting. And I was looking at who they follow and who follows them and stuff like that. I think supposedly there's some connections to Cardi B. These two attorneys have connections with industry people. And I'm looking at who's following them. And I have someone, I'm not going to say who, but I know someone who's industry for sure. And they're following this Channing B individual. But nowadays, they don't have to come in and, outright take your business. They can send people your way to snatch up your business. It's a very interesting situation. Like I said, I think Billion would be popping up. I'm gonna holler at him personally if he does, and he'll give us a rundown. But it's about saving businesses in this community. When they say Crenshaw from Adams to Imperial, they were talking about a section of Crenshaw where it's predominantly black for the most part. A lot of predominantly black businesses are on Crenshaw between Adams and Imperial, but you got less and less. Every day is less and less. That's pretty much what it is. So they are in a business. When I say they, I'm talking about the activists in the community are in a business of keeping a lot of these businesses afloat and supporting and doing whatever we can to support. So I figured let me talk about this. Of course, not anymore. When you said not anymore, let me even say this: Inglewood, y'all. They're right now doing the NFL draft in Inglewood right now, on a piece of property that's owned by this billionaire. There's been some alleged stuff with this billionaire, ties with the city officials and the mayor, and doing all kind of favors for favors and all that. Inglewood don't look like Inglewood of the past. It look crazy right now. It looks billboards everywhere, advertising everywhere, and I get it because you got a lot of international people that will stop right there at LAX because LAX, pretty much Inglewood is right next to LAX or in LAX, right? Or LAX is in Inglewood, however you want to say it, but really it's LA. But anyway, Inglewood is that city right next to the airport. So naturally, people, you get off the plane, you're gonna go get as close as you can to maybe somewhere to eat, or somewhere to lodge, all that good stuff. That billionaire had this idea years ago when they started revitalizing downtown LA. Downtown LA, in the '80s was just like a no go. It was just homeless people everywhere. It was you've seen Skid Row. That was all of downtown LA back in the '80s. Skid Row was all of downtown LA, right? When they decided to break ground and build the Staples Center, things changed. The Staples Center is pretty much right there on Fig, and um, that area they really started cleaning it up. They cleaned it up, so you had a lot of different things. You got LA Live, Staples Center. Now it's the crypto arena. But you had a lot of people coming out of state, out of this country to come here to maybe watch the Lakers. Because that's what the Lakers played uh, at the end of the '90s, in the 2000s, and the Lakers are still there. The Lakers were once right at the Forum, right down the street from where I'm talking about. So the Lakers said, "All right, we're going to do our thing downtown LA," and business. A lot of things have been happening in downtown LA. Very successful businesses and ventures and events, things like that. Then you had, the Walt Disney concert um, pavilion, that big uh, silver statuette looking thing. I mean, it's just a lot that goes on in downtown LA. That billionaire saw the idea and said, "Well, I own all this property," and he owned pretty much where the Hollywood Park Casino used to be, and they had a lake and all that. And he tore that down and said, "I'm going to put a stadium here," and that's what he did. He put SoFi Stadium there. It took some time. It took years, but they have been clearing out that area for years now. And now we got SoFi Stadium. We got the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play, and there's a lot of things going on over there. And Inglewood has changed. They done tore down Inglewood High. I think they tore down what was that? Was that Wadsworth Elementary? They tore down an elementary school not too far from there. They have flipped Inglewood around. Inglewood is like Redondo Beach, and if y'all don't know, Redondo Beach is just like one of them cities where it's like, but Inglewood then turned into Beverly Hills essentially, and that's what's going on out here, South LA. It's getting everybody who were natives here originally here to getting them up out of here. And that's what it is. That's pretty much why I'm like, let me talk about this because usually they do other things to get people out of certain neighborhoods and change the demographics or gentrification. Now I'm not one of these guys that's like gentrification is all bad. I'm not one of them. But you should not displace the original inhabitants of any area for financial gain because if people are used to being in a certain place, they have roots there. You start moving people around, especially like old folks, and the price of every. Well, when gentrification does happen, a lot of old folks will sell their house and just get up out of there because it's like, all right, I done paid off this house. It was 100,000 when I got it 40 years, 30 years back. Now it's half a million, quarter, two, three-quarter million. Let me just get it and get up out of here. And that's usually what happens. But a lot of times these people get displaced. You know, um, people. It's just a lot of things that happen where people just displaced, yo. Like that's pretty much really what it is, and I think that's wrong. Nothing wrong with having a safe neighborhood. Nothing wrong with living in a safe neighborhood. But to start displacing a bunch of the old people and man, things get crazy. But Inglewood, they've been cleaning it up for years. Century Boulevard used to be like a straight stroll, right? When I started seeing, this was back in '99, when I started seeing uh, California Highway Patrol rolling up and down Century, it was a wrap. Like, and then they got the cameras up, so, anybody participating in that type of lifestyle, you want to be a PIMP, right? You likely to get some human trafficking charges. Oh, I said a bad word. My bad. You're likely to get them human transportation charges on you because that's a no-no. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing that now on Fig corridor. Now it's like, yeah, they basically Figueroa's going to be um, changed too. They put a Dunkin' Donuts on Figueroa right in the hood. They got straight Dunkin' Donuts on Figueroa right now. They could have called it Ho Nuts. I mean, Dunkin' Ho Nuts. It could have been. They could have like really took advantage of it being on Fig and called it Dunkin'. But that's anyway. Um, yeah, there's a whole lot of changes going on in LA. And I think I just saw someone say you got about 2 years talking all these YNs, right? All these YNs. Y'all got about 2 years to go get a trade and get your life right because the streets is gone. And that's true. The streets been gone, but the streets really finna be gone where in this section of LA for real. So yeah, right here, Chef Marilyn. Maybe I should go over there. Let me say ain't no police around. Oh nope, the police right there. I mess around and cross the street and get a jaywalking ticket. I swear. Anyway, let me see. Let me see if anybody's gonna pop up, and I'll continue the conversation with Chef Marilyn because look about Chef Marilyn. I'm not gonna basically say it's all the attorney's fault, and I'm not gonna make it seem like the attorneys came in on some benevolent and they didn't want nothing. They obviously wanted something, but I mean, okay, when you're running a restaurant, it's a business. You're not just serving food; you're serving hospitality, and you want people to come back to your restaurant. If the food is good, but if the service is horrible, nobody's gonna come back to your restaurant. If the service is great and the food is horrible, nobody's gonna come back to your restaurant. But if you got good food and you good people, yo, you're gonna have business, and it's gonna grow, it's gonna multiply. There was a business down the street, a soul food business, Doolin's. Shout out to Doolin's. I remember the patriarch of that, the father who started it. I think he recently passed away, and then there was talks about keeping that restaurant around, and they didn't know. People didn't know. They didn't know what was going to happen. I believe they ended up receiving some funding to keep going, and they were doing construction on Crenshaw, so there was a whole lot of disruption with their business, the foot traffic. You were not getting that foot traffic like you once were before. So things did change, but I think they're fine. They're up to speed, and they got good business. They be slow as all hell, but the food is good. And now I don't eat soul food every day. I wouldn't recommend eating this every day, um, but it's still good food, and it's a good business, good honest business. As time goes on, and I'm sure Dad can chime in and tell us, like the price of everything goes up. I was just thinking about another business not too far from here that I know of, Golden Spoon or Gold Spoon, Caribbean, and they look the Caribbean restaurants. You know, when you go to a Caribbean restaurant, you're gonna ask for some jerk chicken, or you're gonna get some oxtails and some uh, red beans and rice, or peas and rice, whatever you call it. And oxtails then went up. I mean, oxtails used to. Funny thing is oxtails isn't like a meat that should be like hella high in price. It's not like prime rib. Oxtails is honestly like, okay, it's the tail end of a cow, and you know what else are they gonna do with that? But I mean, you know, it's good food. It's good meat, I guess, back there. And at one point in time, I think you could buy like a gang of oxtails for like, I don't know, a little bit of nothing. And I think the owner of that business, she was telling me, you know, oxtails then went way up. Like the price for oxtails went so high. Of course, she had to pass that cost on to the customer. So once upon a time, you can get, you know, red peas and rice and cabbage and some plantain, and you know, maybe $15. Now you're not getting no $15 plate oxtails. You're not getting no 15 oxtail plate no more. Your oxtail plate gonna be 35, $36 plus, right, Jay?
You over here talking about ass?
You see, I'm talking about ass.
Hey,
I'm talking about oxtails. I ain't got nothing to do with ass.
that's ass.
You talking about when I was talking about the Dunkin' Donuts?
No, no, I'm talking about oxtail ain't nothing but ass.
Yeah.
That's straight
Now,
ass.
now, yeah. Tell me, oxtails really is like it shouldn't be like a quality. Well, it's not nothing part of the cow that traditionally would cost a lot. To
Yeah,
be
it
honest, right?
is.
It's not like
Yeah, it
prime rib,
is.
right?
Yeah, it is.
Why?
Because there's not that much of it.
Okay, got it. Okay.
It comes from a very, very, very I guess not so common cut. You know what I mean? Like you got to think about
Hmm.
what it takes to to cut that carcass up.
Yeah.
So it's more along the delicacy lines.
Right. Okay.
So and not every oxtail is going to have supple meat. So there's less of it really to go around for market value.
Got it.
So when you see restaurants who buy large quantities of this stuff, typically that purveyor, wherever they're getting it from, they're going to sell it to select places, to let, select restaurants, things of that nature. So
Yeah.
it's like that. It's it's kind of like chili and sea bass. You're not going to find it at every restaurant. Every restaurant can't afford to have it, and the market share value of where it can go out to. So that's why it's always been a little bit more on the pricier side. But
Right.
now, with the quality of meat, and then when you think about the fact that our farmers have been totally screwed over, and now we're bringing most of our meat from out of the country, you got to add on all of those costs. See, like that's the funny thing, and that's the one thing that I love about being a qualified chef tourneur, being able to write a menu, understanding what it takes to run a kitchen, understanding what it takes to put a meal together. People sit down and they eat their food and they don't think about where it's sourced from, the quality of it, where it came from. They just go and they look at the menu and say, hey, this is what I want to eat because this is what I like. They're not really paying attention to the fact that, I don't know, you might be eating this meal at one of the last like 20 restaurants in the indigenous area that are able to serve that to you and still be able to afford to buy it. That's why you see so many restaurants have been drastically, since the pandemic was over, drastically changing their menus, prices going up. overpriced on things. You're going to see a lot of cauliflower in restaurants. You're going to see, I don't know if anyone's noticing, chicken ain't chicken wing spots aren't as popping as they used to be. And the ones who have steady supply, they're getting them from like US foods, and US foods ain't the best purveyor of meats. Like
Mm.
yeah. So, all I can say is when you're going now to sit down in a restaurant, or when you hear about a place that's selling you food and they're saying, "Hey, you can get this for 3.99." Ask yourself a question. What's more important? What you put in your mouth or how long you survive?
Mm.
Because 9 times out of 10, they're giving you something that's probably like slowly taking your life. So, yeah. Um, anyway, enough of that.
No, no, no. Good point. Excellent points. I'm glad you chimed in on that because I'm not an expertise in restaurants. I mean, well, you didn't work at a restaurant, but you definitely were a cook, or what? Like, well, you have ties, or you
I've
have
done catering. Don't for
you. Okay,
I used to do catering. I used to do craft services for films and
okay.
productions and stuff like that. And my dad had a catering business my whole life. And I was engaged to a chef, Tornad. I trained, I staged in restaurants, I volunteered, like I learned. So I never wanted to do restaurant work because I've always been a firm believer that restaurants are the number one killers of great chefs. Um,
Damn, why you say that?
because restaurants are hella stressful. So and volatile. They are volatile businesses. That's why diners have always been such a stone cold like asset in the restaurant world, because with diners, the decor, everything, your type of menu, it all pretty much stays the same. It's regimented. So even if food cost prices change drastically, you don't have to change your price point drastically, which is what? Good for your customer base. Because let's
Yeah,
just be honest, when people like going to their favorite restaurant, it's not just because of the food, it's because of the price, it's because of the security. I know I can go here, I can eat, I can get this for this price. It's good. I'm fulfilled. I'm great. Like, trust me, a person who goes out to eat, their favorite restaurant isn't usually the most expensive place they eat. It's the place where they get the best meal for the best price point.
yeah, 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 yep.
So, yeah. Um, so I'm curious, what kind of cuisine does Chef Marilyn serve?
Soul food, pretty much soul food,
Got it.
and in fact, I'm a pop up over there so we could kind of I'm gonna just show everybody what's in front of the store. Let me give you a little backdrop about what's going on here. Her business has been struggling for some years. In fact, you'll see there's construction next door. Yeah, right next door. See right here, because I believe the roof was like caving in from the last storms. So there's been a whole lot of things that have been going on with this business. But everybody know, you want to get some good soul food, you will come here. And for years, she's been here, 30 years. Now, she's been having some financial issues, and this is why I said I'm not finna even be on nobody's side. Of course, it sounds like some bull crap. This woman has a business. She went into an agreement with these two attorneys, and they got some music industry connects. I'm hearing supposedly that one of them's connected to Cardi B in some fashion or whatever. Um,
Well,
so that's a whole nother conversation. But they went into an agreement to where they would infuse some cash into her business, because her business was struggling. She's in debt. She owes this. She owes that. She wasn't. They said she wasn't even paying the employees. This is what they're saying. So that happened, and all of a sudden they switched up on her, or she switched up on them. I'm talking about Chef Marilyn or the attorneys, and they locked her out. They locked her out of her own business.
Huh.
They changed the key, and the first time they did it a couple of days back, got the attention of the community. We came down here, and and then they gave her the right key, I guess. And then she came back yesterday. They changed it again. It's all kind of funny stuff going on with this situation. So like I said, let me play.
It don't sound funny. How old is this woman?
Oh, she's got to be in her 60s, 70s, something like that. Yeah,
They're
yeah. She's
trying to
not
kill her.
like you say, stress, right? The stress,
Yeah.
the the
Tell me
the, the,
something.
the
Does she
business.
own the building or is she renting?
No, I believe she's renting. I believe she rents. Because let me see, is the living room? I think the living room was there too, like next door. That was a spot where it was like not the room like the one in Hollywood, but it was a spot called the living room. I mean, we went there a few times. You could perform, listen to music, etc. So it was like three different businesses in that one. And I think she's been renting. That's
Follow
what I
me
believe.
here. Follow me here.
Let's go.
Has anybody bothered to check and see if the building that houses her restaurant, if the owners are interested in selling?
Let's look into that. Let's
Because
definitely look into that. Hold on.
if the owners are interested in selling that, and she has a staple community foundational restaurant, they already know kicking her out just to sell it is going to create havoc in the community.
Right.
But if they can find a way to get her out of there and it not be like their fault or their greed, then once she's gone, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they get to sell it and then regentrification plans continue on.
Well, essentially, it doesn't look obvious, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on one second. I don't want to. This is how crazy this YouTube is. I don't want to potentially jaywalk, right? This is how this is, and this is not being paranoid, yo. I don't want to jaywalk because I ain't got no criminal record, y'all.
You know what I
It's
don't
hard to believe, right?
understand? Do you want to know what I don't understand about what you're doing right now? You're sitting here talking about you don't want to film yourself potentially doing something wrong, but you want to talk about it.
Well, who's to say that I'm doing it? I could be walking all the way to Adams to cross the light. I'm just saying.
We
Who's to
could have
say that
just
I'm
kept
doing it?
talking. We could have just kept talking about the real estate and you didn't have to say anything at all.
I could have did a lot of stuff, but I chose not to. In fact, and the reason why I'm coming this way is because I want to look at the other businesses around here. You understand?
Uh-huh.
And all the businesses around here are not doing as great. I'll just say it like that. They got a really, really old Ace Hardware store next door. Okay, I'm hold on. You sitting over here like I could have said it and not did it. I could have did it and not said it. You're funny. Um, this whole area though, to be honest, everything over here is prime real estate when it comes to real estate development. And guess what? One of the attorneys attached to this situation is a real estate development is in real
See?
estate development.
That's all you had to say.
This is the Ace Hardware store. This could easily be torn down. It's a very old building, and you got a parking lot in between, which is like very rare because usually real estate is everything, and you want to keep have businesses or mixed residential because even across the street where I was just at, that was I forgot what was there, But that has the potential to be like mixed real estate, where you got the residents on top, business at the bottom. Um, okay, here we go. So here's the building, and what it is this. You see, I told you there was some roofing issues, as you can see, the
Right.
rain or whatever. And then we got Chef Marilyn's restaurant here.
This is
So
the
yeah,
last business for the community.
yep. So if you guys are interested, what you do is here's our cash app. This is the cash app for Chef Marilyn. So and then you see it's her business right there. So yeah, everybody's popping up. Everybody's gonna show up or whatever. And of course we got the liquor store, the LIQ. Not too many around here as of That's who manages the building right there. That's who manages the building. So maybe we should look into who's managing and then who owns it, and we can go from there.
I
So
wouldn't be
yeah, this
surprised if they're trying to find a way to push those businesses out of there so that they can
I'm
repurpose
sure
that
that's what.
real estate.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, look at across the street. I'm telling you, a couple of years back, what was there that wasn't there. They had other businesses there, and then look at this. It's one story, two stories, for 5 stories, 5 stories. And this is what I was saying about what Nip was potentially, I believe, having a plan right over there off of at his location at the shopping center. Because you can go maybe 2 stories down, and then go 5 stories up. And they've done a lot of this, especially on Crenshaw. They changed the ordinance because back in the day, it used to be you couldn't have a whole bunch of businesses. I mean, you couldn't have a whole bunch of residential uh, spots, and it's because of parking. And they had an issue with parking, but they changed the ordinances so that you could put like it could be a 60, 70 uh, unit, and you don't have to worry about parking because of they're talking about the public transportation. You see what I'm saying? LA is weird like that. Do you guys know that LA, downtown LA, the reason why the buildings, like the highest building you had was, I think, maybe the city hall at one point up into the 70s, and then you had a few sky rise buildings, but you only can have it so high, and it had to have a flat roof because they needed, the potential of a what do you call it, like a helicopter to land in case there's like a fire or something like that. But they changed that in the 70s, and then now that's why we got all these different buildings and stuff like that, high rise. But that's why downtown LA skyline ain't like Manhattan in New York. You know what I'm saying?
I see. I'll be right back. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, this is where we're at. It says we're open, but actually she's not. She's not open. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. All right. Yeah, LA is weird like that. They will change. I guess they have these real conservative laws initially, and then what they do is over time things change. Oh, that goes everywhere. But I guess maybe it has something to do with the population. Yeah, the zoning laws, right? Exactly. Now all up and down Crenshaw, you got a lot more buildings like this where you could have a bunch of residents, but because there's public transportation, because they have a train that goes down Crenshaw now, They don't have to consider the parking because once upon a time, I mean, LA, everywhere you go in LA for the most part, parking. If you live, I mean, you better have a garage, you better have a driveway because the parking on the street, it can be a problem. Don't live in Hawthorne. Your people gonna have to park in Long Beach to come visit. I hated Hawthorne, bro. Like Hawthorne was like it's like no parking nowhere. So LA changes like that. So yeah, zoning law. I'm sure what they will do is potentially tear this building down because look, it's just this building, and then you got a parking lot in between. And where I was showing y'all the Ace Hardware, they could easily tear this whole little situation down, this whole block, and put a big a high rise up here, and still have the businesses, and then have some residents living on top of the businesses. That's just what they're doing out here, crazy. And again, so yeah, just so y'all know, I'm not lying. I believe last rainstorm, there was all types of issues with the roof. But yeah, okay, the Jag is back.
Sorry about that. For whatever
Everything good?
reason, yeah, call was coming through. We'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
It was
Well,
crazy. I forgot to put on do not disturb, so I got it on
okay.
now.
Well, don't worry about it. I mean, I wasn't going to be on here too long. I was telling you because I was seeing if my folks was going to pull up. I don't see nobody really. Oh, Billion is pulling up. There he is, right there. Little Billion right there. Well, I'm gonna get word from him real quick, and
See, this is
yeah.
messing up now.
Now your thing is messing up.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop back down and come right back. This is crazy.
Go ahead. Okay, y'all. Look, this is the Cash App though for the donations, and they're supposed to be open. He said they're open every day, but they're closed. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate. What up with you, man? Of course, doing good, man. We doing the good work by spreading the word. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think your thing is still that's funny. Hold on, let me see.
Hey, hey, with the monkeys.
I'm gonna
All right,
ask
let me
real
get
quick what's
serious.
going on. Yo, Billion, I'm on the live right now. Do me a favor. Let me get because I saw you went down to the Pope Law, and I was doing research on them because I think one of the attorneys definitely is a part of like real estate. So I'm look. We think I'm on. Me and Jag talking about it right now. Say what's up to Jag. Hey,
What's
oh,
going
that's
on,
Jag right, right?
Billion?
Yeah. What's up with you? Yeah. Well,
It's
it's in my
pretty
ear here. You
good.
want to? Hold on. Okay. You want to hear? Or if you want, it's okay. Yeah. So we talking about the fact that it might be like a real estate play at hand. You get what I'm saying? We just trying to figure it out ourselves. And this has been happening on print. So when they started putting that train in, we lost over 100 businesses, more so on that end because the train stops on Exposition. Right. But they just agreed to extend it further north. Yep. So San Francisco, they all into. Right. So they about to come through here. So now the same thing we saw on that end is happening here. Because on that end, we had all these people showing up. Yeah. New nonprofit. Yep. Trying to help people with their paperwork. Same thing that happened with her. And I asked two other people to come today that is actually happening to right now also. Oh. So that it's not just Chef Marilyn, but this is something that's happening. So yeah, we all are seeing that more than likely they will put over here with the knowledge to take advantage of, and the city is picking and choosing which businesses they want to help. Like one sister pointed out, the city went up there and helped Newlands. Yep. I'm just talking about that. And I respect the brothers. Yeah. However, how come y'all not helping Chef Marilyn? Right. Right. She's
Because
been
they're
here
helping
forever too.
Chef
So
because
yeah,
they
we
don't
see
need
it's
more
something
than one
bigger in
nigga
place.
restaurant.
Exactly. Exactly. Jag was saying they said they only need one nigga restaurant. That's what she said. For real. For real. But no, yeah, we doing what we did. We doing what we can. I did put the have I donate because yeah, it's about time to like start helping to support her. One of the I saw one of the attorneys though is connected to somebody with potentially connected to entertainment industry. What's her face? Cardi B. That's the one I went to. That's the Sunset Sierra. Okay, that's who it is. Okay, okay. So yeah, man, and yeah, we out here and then don't if you in LA, I'm actually gonna do a live because voting is what June 3rd or the 6th? Second. Okay, so of course I'm telling everybody vote was the California Assembly 55, right? So we of course we gonna support you and yeah, of course. Yeah, I got one of these, of course. Yeah, we gonna be voting for. We putting our vote for our people because vote don't mean nothing but wish. That's what voting means. That's all it means. But we're gonna put billion in so we could really get things popping. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope y'all heard that. Y'all heard that, right? As far as what he was saying about the extension of the rail line. And I forgot about that. The extension of the rail line is probably why they're doing this. And he said, yeah, there's multiple businesses that are being affected that are in kind of like how Chef Marilyn was.
Sounds like that rain is about to start blowing in.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. That's why I said let me get some shelter in a minute because I don't want to be out here in the cold. I do not want to be out here in the cold. Anyway, yeah, of course, if you guys y'all saw the Cash App, you can support and just whatever. If it's 10 cent, whatever. But we're getting down to the bottom of it. Trust me. You see, he pulled up. That's a real thing. I roll with real activists. I don't roll with pretenders and reactivists and avengers. Right? We roll with real people who are boots on the ground activism. That's why if you see me pull up somewhere, you already know. I think we pulled up a gang of times, Jack, just at different locations, right?
Yeah.
Do you really see any of these other YouTubers pulling up?
Huh.
Nah, not at all. Because they can't. And then some of them don't even show their face because they can't. But no, we pull up and it's really about that action. Not the reaction, not a reactivist. It's really about action. That's what it is. Appreciate you pulling up. You pull up and then the numbers go up. So appreciate the people here. Y'all hit the like button. Yeah, reactivist. Shout out to Black Dot. I think he came up. Well, I don't know if he coined that. It was either him or Griff. Reactivists. Like they're not they're not activating. They're not activists about anything. They're reacting. Just like a lot of people online, they react. They. Anyway, anyway. Anything else on your mind?
Yeah, but I ain't gonna say it online. I got enough people trying to
Okay.
figure out my business.
People have uh, people have gotten really really weird. In fact, let me pull up to the back end of this what a restaurant is
Lil
because
Diddy, you've been talking about a lot of rear end this live. A lot
no,
of
you see
tail.
you've been that's what you've been doing. You've been anyway. You've been yeah. Activist. If you are in LA, I'm gonna do a live real soon. I'm not gonna tell y'all who to vote for, but we got to be aware of who's in the assembly. So we definitely gonna put a vote in for my man here. And if you got people in LA that do vote, let them know. I got some other information about other people that I'm gonna bring to the table. Like there's certain judges, there's certain people in the what's the word? The council, LA City Council. They be on some BS, and I'm gonna call them out. So don't vote for them. If you ain't on the time for really helping out the people, like these people just get these little jobs, and that's what they do. They they collect their little check and they just, you know, they
No,
do what they're supposed to do,
it's yeah. Well, I was
which is
gonna say
nothing.
it's not just about the check. It's about getting the check, having the bennies, having the benefits, but also being in position to do the bidding of whoever got them there.
Okay. Oh, they put yeah. Well, that's cold. Cold shit. You're right. They put a refrigerator. I'm at the back
Oh
of
wow.
shit, check man. Oh my God, our Lord and Savior, our Lord and Savior.
Oh, they started moving her
Yeah,
stuff
they
out.
uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they cold for that. They really they jacked up. But yeah, see, look again. We pull up and
It's
we
sounding like it's looking like this is a real estate thing, not a business thing. This is a real estate thing.
likely because the business is next door to the living room, which is like I said, there's a spot here. It's funny. Before I leave, I'll bring up a story because I met someone here, and he's all of a sudden on no jumper. All of it. He's somebody that's working for no jumper. We literally were just talking about
Oh,
how engaging no jumper is. But I'll tell y'all that story. Anyway, yeah, it likely is a real estate situation. This liquor store, I'm sure. I'll look into the owners and who owns what. But yeah, it would make sense for a real estate developer to come in and start snatching up what they need to snatch up because they are expanding the rail line, and the rail line does it already goes into LAX. It goes into LAX. It comes out of LAX and it goes up to Crenshaw, and it's going to continue because it's underground pretty much here, but it's going to continue to go underground, I guess, and it might go above ground, but at some point it'll be on the other side of the 10 freeway, and it'll start going west into Hollywood, and then I think from Hollywood it'll end up at the Hollywood Bowl. Now they're projecting this. They're literally this whole thing's supposed to be completed in 2049.
mm.
You see what I'm saying? You see how far out people be thinking we trying to live check to check. We trying to live for the next month. This train extension should go all the way up until 2049. That's when they're gonna open it. And so you already know in 2049, I'm gonna be like 61 years old, right? No, actually I'm gonna be 42. But yeah, they talking about the train being continuing. So you got to think ahead. You can't be like, okay, we're gonna snatch up this property uh, tomorrow or in 2042. No, they want to get it now. They want to make sure that they can do what they need to get going now. Now that train is already like maybe 6 or 7 stories underground. I realized that when I was coming out of the train station, and as you come up, you're like, okay, it's about it's about 80 feet, 70 feet down, maybe even deeper. So you already know. You already know. But yeah, we out here, and if anyone can donate, you want to donate, yeah, we got a justice fund for Chef Marilyn doing the
That's a shame.
fundraiser thing. We gotta definitely support. You see, like it
You
says
got to
here,
see
over
how
30
yeah,
years.
yeah, but you got to see how far they are into their plans, man, because this might have been the one thing that they needed.
Right, exactly, exactly. Y'all was coming to come eat. She's not open today. Yeah, it's likely, like you said, it's likely a real estate thing. Because look, like I said, look next door.
Yeah.
I believe one was the living room and one was something else. So it was the living room, Chef Marilyn, and there was another establishment. But yeah, they're there. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's likely, like you said, it's likely a real estate thing. And you're right. You're right. But yeah, that's
That's
how
why I
far in
said,
advance they be thinking.
did she own it?
Probably not. Probably not. I'll look into it, but I doubt it.
No,
And
if you
LP
show no,
knows
showing me what you showing me, if she owned that, they wouldn't have been able to put her stuff out
they
on the
wouldn't be able to
street
do that.
until yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. There used to be a right across the street. There used to be Phillips Barbecue. They tore that down. That boom. You know what, Jag? You're right. Y'all, if you know, you know. Okay, right across the street is a. It used to be a barbecue, a black-owned barbecue spot, Phillips. It just recently tore it down. So you see what's there right now. You got
Oh,
this little, rinky-dink ass pawn shop. It probably used to be like a movie theater because you could tell. And then this is a new development, so that ain't going nowhere. They want that there and there. Then they'll get rid of that gas station too. And then yeah, right across the street, boom, yeah. It's a real estate play. It's a real estate play for sure. So
they needed a reason
okay,
to chase her up out of there.
yep. Just like I was saying with the neighborhood knit foundation and the location where he owned. If he would have been, if he would have lived and he'd been able to, accomplish what he would have accomplished. Oh man, things are so different right now. But even some of the people who live outside of this neighborhood, they'll tell you LA is pretty much dead. There's no culture. Yeah, because the people who brought culture got pushed out. Soul food restaurant gone. Yeah. Okay.
The times they are a changing.
Well, and yeah, things are changing. Anyway, y'all. What else is up? I think I'm about to get up out of here. Again, I'm glad at least the folks pulled up. But if you guys are, I'll put the GoFundMe because there's a GoFundMe for Chef Marilyn available. I'll put it in the description. So I gotta
Okay.
go run and do that. But if you're watching this on the replay, um, yeah, just any support is good. A couple of bucks, whatever. Any support is good. But this is a black woman running her black business, a real black business, not somebody who you got some people who are trying to take from us. It's crazy. It's crazy work,
Don't
and
sound
it's
like they're
our own
trying.
people.
It don't sound like they're trying. Sounds like they're executing.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, y'all. That's it for me. That's it. That is it. I know you went live earlier. You got some things coming up, and I got to finish with some cutting up some stuff myself. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all.
Thanks, Kat.
Oh, she found it. Damn. Good looking out. Cat be on it. Cat's a real one. Might as well just shout everybody else out. Cat,
You can pin it
Barbara
here in
J.
chat. What happened? Where'd he go? Oh, shucks. Every time, try to do something good, they always gotta, man, it's crazy. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Barbara J. God, sweet Southern Lady in the building. Chaos building. Okay. Sassy, thank you for stopping by. Salute to Pittsburgh. Guest Clue, thank you for stopping by. Tina Mojiji. I think I'm going to probably be out of here in a second. So I just want to say thank you guys for pulling up to the virtual fundraiser and uh, I guess protest.